Okay, welcome to Banksy and Freddy, another teaching lesson from them on trying to make the headlines, what's behind the headlines, and making it simple as far as the magic money around the world is concerned. So the goal this week is to explain actually the trends now, what's going on in Great Britain in terms of housing prices are now actually coming under pressure. And if you look at the the listings and reduced listings, they're going up over 54% of properties now are actually either falling in price as a result of all the listings and new listings that they are taking place. And this trend is continuing downwards, regardless of what the media is trying to hide or not saying. And so now, with interest rates likely to go up as well today, at the time of this recording, it puts more and more of these average households under pressure, and they're trying to recover from COVID, let alone the bank holidays that's going on. So it's having a massive impact when people don't really understand that their purchasing power is also being eroded with the increase in car insurance at 16%, just with recent revelation. Council taxes likely to go up above the rate of inflation. Food prices really going at 15% in real rates. And so the purchasing power of the average family with the marriage, parents and kids possibly thrown into the mix, not understanding its purchasing power, that's causing a lot of the rows in the kitchens up and down the country at the moment, but they're not aware of that because ignorance is what's costing them the ability to articulate exactly what's happening. But now when they see their own property starts falling in price, the opportunity to refinance and remortgage all depend on their credit rating and will be vastly reduced going forward. So even if they try to list it, it's not going to be at the price that they hope. And some people will be what they call underwater. In other words, the mortgage is greater than the actual equity value of their property in some parts of the country or many parts of the country as a result. Now, the other thing is, what you got to understand, people think that all the banks that are in trouble, and like JP Morgan is part of that community and have no influence in with the Fed. Well, in fact, JP Morgan, if you dig deeper, is a massive influencer with the Fed in America. So you also find there could be a conflict of interest when they're taking over these banks. And so, as a result of the influence they have as well with the Fed, not only do they shape the inflation, the interest rates, but also they get as the first pick of the cherries with all the failing banks and all their clients, billionaires, etc., etc. So we see we've got very interesting conflict interest going on here. Are the few looked after, or the majority of the people looked after? That is the question. And the impact what goes on in America always has an impact on us in the UK. So we are inextricably linked to their economic decisions and what's going on. Now, for you to understand bailings, basically what it is with banks, it's a relief to a financial institution on the brink of failure by requiring the cancellations of debts owed to creditors and depositors. And at this moment, with the one or two banks that have gone under, they've been able to get away with it at the Fed. But unfortunately now, it looks like the actual banks and the creditors and depositors banks will be made liable when these collapses start going on, since the insurance is not available to bail out any more banks that should they collapse in the United States, which could happen at any time. The other thing is, well, on top of that, there is a possibility the debt ceiling, if there's a default with that, the Americans could send the whole world into recession almost instantly. And we saw a depression, really, and not recession. So there's that vulnerability, the black swan that could still happen, which will have a shocking impact on the global economy. And on top of that, the infrastructure is in place already for the central bank. Digital currency will be put in place. So if you're into prostitution and drug dealing, I would sort of get ready now to notice that these digital tokens could put you out of business, since the governments and central banks will have more control on everything that you spend, what comes in and out, and how you go about plying your trade. So there you are. I know it's not good news, but we don't mess around in the Banksy and Freddy show. We just tell you as we say, come to your own conclusion, send your comments into the chat. Don't forget to subscribe so you can be notified of any new last minute up to date information. And we'd appreciate a like so we can keep reaching more and more people across the globe.